This video today is to help you with Snowway's 9910 1470 Universal Adapter Kit. This adapter kit is not guaranteed to work for all vehicles. In the circumstance that this EIS adapter cannot be installed to function the plow lights, the latest control and light system from Snowway will be needed. Contact a local Snowway retailer for details. Now if you turn to page 3, there is a non-substitute list. Now this means that these numbers up here, they potentially may no longer be available, and this universal adapter kit will not work on them. Next I'm going to be showing you the wiring diagram. On the first page here, we have all the parts that are required to do this install. The plow lights and the crossover harness you already have. Right now we're doing the universal light adapter, which is pointed out right here. On the next page here is a schematic which is going to help us with the install as explained in the next page here. It's going to show us which wires go to the vehicle and which wires go to the vehicle headlamp harness. Okay, prior to installation you need to look at your plow lamp harness. If you have a violet wire in pin number 1, it needs to be removed. Also, it's looped, so the other side has to be clipped, or totally take the wire out. On the passenger side, you have an orange wire in pin location number 5. That also has to be removed all the way, either clipping both sides of the orange wire or removing it totally. When you're ready.
Go ahead.
The tools needed to do this install are going to be, we got the butt connectors here, we got scotch locks, we have the adapter, we have a pliers, we have dielectric grease, we have a tool crimper and a wire stripper, and last is a test light to test the power source for the wires. First thing we're going to want to do is remove the headlight to get access to the wires. On this particular one, it's easy because it's just got the two handles on there that come out. Now that we have the wires exposed, I want you to grab your universal harness and make sure you have the right one for the driver's side. The driver's side is going to be the one with the yellow wire. The passenger's got the gray wire. First thing you want to do is you'll want to find the source wire for the low beam headlight. Once you found the wire, cut it at a suitable distance. Then you'll have to strip them back a little bit because these get butt connected together. The light green is going to go to the side going back to the headlight. The dark green is going to go to the vehicle harness. Now before you crimp these, you can refer back to your schematic and make sure that the light green is going to the headlight and that the dark green goes to the vehicle harness. Now that we have these wires butt connected together, you can see that the light green wire goes back up to the headlight and the dark green wire goes back to the vehicle harness. We go to the high beam side. Again, we have to test and find the source wire for this. So we find the source wire. We'll cut it at a suitable distance. Then we're going to attach the light blue wire to the headlight. And the dark blue is going to go back to the harness from the truck. Okay, now that we have the high beam wires connected with the butt connectors, you see that the light blue one goes to the headlight. The dark blue one goes back to the vehicle harness. Our next step is to go back to the low beam side, and we're going to have to find the common on there. Once you find the common on there, we need to connect the white wire from our universal adapter kit onto that. So what we'll do then is we'll take our Scotch lock and load it up with dielectric grease, because these do not come pre-lubed, for protection from corrosion. Once we got that done, take your Scotch lock, put it on there, and attach the white wire to it. Now it's ready to be crimped. Now that we have the common wire connected to our low beam side on our headlights, I'd like to point out a note that some vehicles may have a common ground for all the headlights, while others may have a common wire for the light, low beam, and high beam. They have a separate one for the park and turn lights as well. So if you have two different grounds on here, one for the headlights and also another ground for the park turn wires, we need to go back to the universal adapter harness, and we need to cut the loop wire Now it's prepped for two different grounds. If you have just a single ground for the lights and the running lights, you'll want to keep that connected. Grab your turn signal. Okay, on this one we have 3 wires. So what you need to do is you need to probe and find your turn signal wire. In this case it's going to be the blue one. So what we'll do is we'll take our Scotch lock, put dielectric grease in there, so our connections don't corrode. Once we got that done, connect your turn signal wire, the power for the turn signal wire, with the yellow wire. Now there's a note in here that specifies that this may not be sufficient for all of them, and we won't know if it is or not until after step 5. It may require to be butt connected. After that's connected, we need to do the same with the run wire and the ground wire. The run wire gets the brown wire from your harness, and the black wire is the common wire. We got all these wires connected. We have your turn signal wire, which is the yellow wire. We have the run wire, which is your brown wire. And now we have the black wire for your common wire. Now that it's done, this side is completed. If you go to the passenger side, which is going to have, instead of the yellow wire, it's going to have a gray wire for the turn. All these steps have to be repeated on the passenger side. Once we are finished with that, we can connect our X harness The passenger side is already done just for the sake of saving some time, so I'll connect that side and we'll check for operation. Now that we have the vehicle, passenger side done, and we have the X harness installed, our next step is to hook up the plow lights and we'll check for functionality. As you can see, they're already hooked up, so now if you could please turn on the running lights. They're both working okay. The low beams, and now the high beams. Okay, you can turn on your left directional. Now it's important to let these go for at least 30 seconds. If the computer needs time to recognize if there's going to be an error code or if there's some type of issue, it'll throw a code in there. Okay, your right directional. Again, make sure you wait 30 seconds so the computer's got enough time to read to make sure if there's a code, it's going to show it. Okay, now that everything is proper, we'll unplug the lights and we're going to plug our vehicle back in and make sure all our lights are proper on here. Okay, we have high beam, turn on the low beam. Okay, left directional. Good, right directional. Okay, good. If you run across where you throw an error or get a code, you're going to have to continue on past step 5. This vehicle does not require any further assistance here, but what we got is I want to demonstrate to you if you do experience an error code or something in your marker lights, what I want you to do is take your Scotch lock and clip it out. Once you do that, take your tan wire, connect it to the lamp side, and take your brown wire that you had cut off and attach that back to your vehicle harness. Same thing on the other side. The only difference is going to be on the passenger side, instead of having a tan wire, you're going to have a pink wire. The pink wire goes to the lamp and the brown wire will go to your harness. The next thing, if you have an issue with your turn signal with a fast flash or something, cut the Scotch lock out again, and then take your yellow wire, connect it to the vehicle harness, and then take your orange wire, and that would go to your lamp. Now on the passenger side, instead of this yellow wire here, you're going to have a gray wire on that side. So the gray wire will go back to your vehicle harness, and you're going to have a violet wire that gets connected to your lamp.